Hello everyone and welcome to your horoscope for the week of February the 6th to 12th, 2023. We have a really active and quite interesting sky at play because there are many energies simultaneously active, influential, and almost dragging us into different directions at the same time. But perhaps the most significant one, according to my opinion of course, is the on and off square between Venus and Mars. Venus is in the sign of Pisces in exaltation. Venus is, responsible with our mood, with our feelings, whatever it is that we love, whatever it is that we, especially now, crave on a soul level, perhaps even unconsciously. Our dreams are very, very active. And the most positive expression of this is a romantic, almost like mist in the air, where everything that we perceive, everything that we observe, is seen through a certain kind of, as I said, romantic mist. But when I say romantic, yes, usually it means the birds and the bees and everything, the rose tinted glass. But romance in itself can also be slightly melancholic. It can also be a little bit down. It can also be a little bit dark. So whatever romance and the depth of emotion, the depth of feeling means for everyone individually. Now Mars in the sign of Gemini is kind of the opposite of this. It is to do, to achieve, to communicate, to express oneself, one-on-one dialogues, communications, and in a sense relationship, because there is an exchange of thought, of energy, of word, and that is kind of down to earth, that is kind of practical. It does embody a certain kind of Venusian energy to it, because Venus is the esoteric ruler of Gemini. So, usually optimism, a more positive way of thinking, a positive mindset, constructive mindset, to do. Let's focus on what we have, what we don't, not exactly what we do not have. Yet still, when it's a square, we have to see the illusion for what it is and use it constructively. This is the challenge of the square. So this can play out in many areas of life, for example, romance, um, dating, getting to know people, relationships, because there is this Venusian allure. It can, also with Mars, especially be a sensual energy, because Mars and Venus, the male and female principle, and in square, so sometimes that plays out as attraction, which is not usually the best idea. Mars in Gemini and Venus in Pisces, the contradiction, the duality. But of course, it can play out at job. Uh, is someone, something, a project, an offer worth it? Is it too good to be true? Are you capable? Do you see yourself in the future fulfilling a role or not? And this is where Mars comes with the practical elements, all the data, all the info, may be saying, yes, you are definitely up to the role, up to the change, up to the challenge, up to the task. But Venus might come with, from Pisces, insecurity, which can stem in so very many different things. Let me just give you an example. Even though Venus doesn't necessarily have to do with the traumatic stuff itself, but the empathic, the feeling of it, yeah, that is there. So back to the example. When you were young, maybe at your first job, you had a very rude, ruthless boss, and it left a really bad imprint on you. And maybe you get this great offer at work to step up a position or something like that. But this Venus right now is evoking more the bad feeling of the bad boss than, the allure of the opportunity and how well the dream, the dream. So this is where you have to alchemize and say what, Venus should be focusing on, because Pisces, mutable, dual, the opposite. So this is an example how it might play out in someone's life, but as I said, Venus, everything that is your dream, your whatever subject or theme or stem that dream has, in romance, a job, career, soul path, spiritually, materially, in any way, shape, and form. What do you do with that dream? Because with the Mars and Venus square, there are elements of the dream which we do need to cut off, in a sense, to make it be realistic a little bit, because Mars in Gemini does need that. Because, for example, when you want to share your dream, Mars in Gemini, communicate your dream, write about it, or maybe as the source of your next new artistic creation. Um, you can't exactly express your dream in this unbound raw form it was born within your being, because no one else can truly understand the most intimate part of your being. Maybe your partner, your mom, dad, sister, but one or two souls in the world, if you know what I mean. So you might have understanding there, but you cannot expect that to be, like collective. That is why certain big pieces of art, like the Mona Lisa, for example, it's a permanent guess what emotion was there. For example, the smile. And that is the eternal mystery of a Neptunian creation. But our dream, any desire, any Venusian element is the same really. Only we can know, and only we should know the depth of our feeling, the most intimate part of the divine spark within us. So, as I said, when we share it, we do strip what we share of the most intimate Venusian element of it, because otherwise, we kind of give it away, and we can't. A part of the dream remains within us, and that's basically sacred. That is what, even if we share it, it has to be like a puzzle. We have to also, by sharing it, embody the divine mystery, where we can't give it away. We have to make a jigsaw puzzle out of our most depth feeling, because maybe one soul from a million who does decipher it, well, they deserve it. Because they were that smart or that whatever. They deserve it. But, that's a touch of Saturn to it. So anyway, this is where Mars asks us to put our dream in a shareable form, in a applicable form, in a, how should I say, in a rather mechanic form which can just stick and work. So to make it palpable, at least in thought. Because why is that very important? If it makes sense to us, if it's probable, possible, logical, to us, it gives us a security, it gives us a kind of power, which is ultimately very, very constructive. It is Plutonian in nature and also Neptunian. And Venus, the week after, will meet Neptune in the sky and, of course, will reactivate the April 2022 Jupiter, Neptune, and also Venus herself meeting the triple conjunction. So that will be quite an interesting energy, even romantically, because Venus is faster than Mars. So the square between them will not be all that powerful by the time Venus gets into position. And the square is really more influential at the beginning of the week, yet it can have a lot of power because it's Pisces. It's there. And we drop something in a lake, it reverberates. The echoes, the waves are there, and they don't pass instantly, if you know what I mean. So the feeling, whatever the inner struggle will be, it will kind of stay with us for the rest of the week. And we must not forget that this Venus-Mars square happens kind of simultaneously just after. So today, when I'm recording this Sunday, the 5th, a Leo full moon that will stir us up emotionally. So we're already stirred up, or we are already shocked, a surprise already hit us or is hitting us. Because full moon, sometimes it takes a week to truly get into position. Yet I doubt it a little bit because Uranus comes with haste, with great haste. Anyway, so the Venusian element will be quite active. So it can be, as I said, a disillusionment, a disappointment, a break of the dream, where it's not really this only if we want it, if we allow it, because this just cuts off elements from our dream to make it more real. And this is the more positive approach. So my advice is don't get sucked into the intensity of the allure, of the dream, of the illusion, or the opposite. The disappointment, the sorrow, the disillusionment, the loneliness, my dream is never gonna come true. Keep, float above. Be above the water, have your head above the water. And that's where you can make progress. And you will see things for what they are. But of course, still at the beginning of the week, we also have the Uranus square Sun. As I said, the full moon squares Uranus, so of course the Sun will still hold the square. Surprises, a lot of unexpected elements, especially from friends, from the external. You get this phone call, you get this email, you get this message. Everyone needs you. Everyone has a problem. No one respects the schedule. No one respects what you talked, as in at this time to this day, this time, like this, like that. No one respects. It's total chaos. And maybe sometimes under the pressure, under the stress, we also come with not so pleasant surprises. A mental breakdown, a small mental, but it is what it is. But of course, this energy will die down towards the end of the week. But all of this also has a counterpart to it. Venus sextiles Uranus. So, yeah, we're hit, and the surprises are coming. The unexpected situations are coming, but many of them are fruit-bearing. Uranus in the sign of Taurus. Business opportunity, clientele. You're busy, everyone wants a piece of you, but if there are rewards to it, then even if your time is limited, prioritize. I do believe that in a very down-to-earth way, this week the keyword is prioritize your time, prioritize your schedule, which person, which client, which work, or what, in whichever area this is worth it. Which one do you love more? Which one is more fruit-bearing in any sense? And of course you take that as a priority. Now Venus in the sign of Pisces also means the ideal, the beauty, the exaltation of self-sacrifice, when you willingly choose to, for example, sacrifice your own delight, pleasure for someone else. that has spiritual rewards to it. So, yes, sometimes that is the surprise. Like, let me express it in an example how I see this. So, this week, with this Mars activity in Gemini and the Uranus and the let's say there is a competition. Someone is very Uranus, very talented, and they're a hard worker. Because Saturn right now is pretty quiet in a way, but he's there. And there's Pluto in Saturn sign, so work is also very important. Work and sacrifice is very important. And of course, they win the competition, and something happens. The unexpected comes from within the winner, and they say they pass the trophy to the second place person, and because something about their life story, they're an orphan, or impressed the winner so much so that they planned this all along. So you can imagine, surprise, surprise. Fate is twisted, but this is where love could not be contained. So these are the surprises that we can expect out there in competitions, anything that has to do with the artistic world. Let's not forget Leo, royalty, royal family, VIP stars, musicians, etc., etc. So Venus sextiling Uranus, as I said, many of this surprise element can have a lot of benefit to it. Reward or anything, or you're open for romance, but it comes in, more than one number, as in more than one interest, more than one date. What do you do? There you go. You have the Mars square Venus to it. What a wonderful dream of yours it was to be this wanted. But the physical application to it, that's a nightmare. Because what do you do really? You schedule the dates and do time, or you know what I mean. But it can come in another way. After a lot of inner work, you're so happy with being single, or I'm single and proud, or I don't know. And at the very, maybe you got into this comfort zone just yesterday, and in a 1 or 2 day, it comes, the shocking turnaround of love comes, and you can imagine, even if it's wonderful, it's nice, it's a wonderful surprise, what a true soul level frustration it will give you. Even if you don't feel this through there and then, there will come a moment when you will kind of feel this through, that is the universe joking with me really? Was it joking, or what? What's up, dude? So, yes. But on the other hand, there is another sextile in the sky, Mars and Jupiter. And Jupiter is in the a sign of Mars, Aries. So this is quite powerful, because our belief, our courage, our initiative, our action, when we do, at least Gemini, say something, think, concentrate, focus, even if it's, I don't know, mind over matter situation, which does have an element of sci-fi to it. But this is when we have to, we have to, should do it. Uranus encourages this, Jupiter encourages, every planet really encourages this, but we must not be sorrowful if it doesn't play out the way we think it will do. That's the Mars and Venus square. And to top all of this up, there is also Mercury holding a sextile with Neptune, our thoughts. Mercury being in Capricorn, it has, a physical, down-to-earth, logical, rational, concrete element to it. But Neptune, on the other hand, is the opposite. So when the two meet, and dreams do get to the right frequency, when the feeling is so much there that everything in life immediately will start to make sense, towards the execution of the dream. That's alchemy right there. And you might say, well, yeah, this is just, some inner feeling. But you don't know what it can do because Mercury is concrete. Let's say it's the world of business, your job, you're at an office, and there is a celebration, and no, whatever, someone's birthday or a remembrance, I don't know. No one else except you does a gesture, Neptune and Pisces, because the spirit of the whatever it is carries you away and you bring a cake or dress in a certain, show a respect or whatever. Well, that's Neptune. You did something. And immediately your gesture brings you in all the right places. Your effort makes a great, change in the work environment. So all the small things and all the gestures can go a very, very long way. And this is what the sextile reminds us of. Take the spirit, take your artistic spirit, or whatever spirit means to you with you, even in condensed places where the spirit usually doesn't dwell, like an office, like, I don't know, wherever, but take it with you, your imagination, your fantasy, your belief, your channeling abilities. Like, let me give you a brilliant example for this. Mercury in Capricorn, exam period, teachers and the exam, student. Neptune. Either you're unlucky because exactly what you're not good at is the subject of the exam, or you didn't work all that much, but you meditated, you're a highly spirited person. Well, you get into the exam room, regardless if it's oral or written, and you start like improvising, channeling, and chances are, even if you don't get, to the pedestal, you pass that exam and honorably. So, a great example of the power of the spirit, but also the other element there, Mars sextile Jupiter, the courage, because you could have chosen a different path, but you chose to improve, to believe in yourself. You went there, you've done it. And Venus sextile Uranus, not only have you passed the exam, but you passed it your way. This just gives you confidence, great confidence, as whatever. But there is Uranus square the sun, the energy you put into it consumed you, and you have to sleep 3 days straight on. And Venus square Mars, well, it was risky. And you're probably gonna brag about it to your friends and maybe inspire people who are not very good channelers to fail miserably. Yeah, there is that side to it. But this is all joke, fun, and games, This energy in the life of everyone, from the most, down to earth kind of people who have nothing to do with spirituality or imagination, fantasy, arts, or whatever, even they can find a great use for this. Needless to say, for artists and who do work in either the Venusian or the Neptunian realms, well, they will benefit a lot from this week. Even though there is a personal discomfort to it, because, as I said, all of us will be 1 foot in a kind of quicksand. May that be a beautiful dream, it's too good to be true romance. Your best friend had started to have a romantic interest in you. Your life is, going forward. You're working, you have everything there, but this isn't what you really needed, because what do you do with it? So there will be a quicksand there for all of us, but there will be a lot of momentum, and then belief, optimism, let's do it. And the Aries way, basically, the ram, where you go head into the fray, not in a negligent, stupid, because Uranus punishes that now. This is very important. Not stupid way, not blindly, but the attitude, what I mean. You go and confront it, you do it. That is really, really necessary. Now, in the middle of the week, around the 9th, Mercury does get close and meet with Pluto. And this is very important because Pluto is hanging around at that energetic position of Capricorn. So, on one hand, this will remind us of how much our lives have changed in a very practical way, in a Capricornian way, better said. Power, control, authority, politicians, the state, what we depend upon, our own careers, our own livelihood, our own physical needs and element, how we manage that, how it defines us, and of course, even emotionally, even in relationship, in any way, shape, and form, how much power do we allow others or something, may that be even a deity, a substance, a routine, a pattern, an inner element, another person, mom, dad, whatever that is, how much power does we allow it to have over us. And this energy, especially with Jupiter in Aries, with Juno in Aries, with Vesta in Aries, with Salasha in Aries, it breaks it. How should I say? It breaks the pattern of slavery. It forces, in many different ways, Eris in Aries. As I said, it forces in many different ways an inner rebellion. That can be done in the most noble way, like, I don't know, of course, symbolically speaking, where we live it through like Joanne d'Arc, the universe is guiding us in the most epic or prophetic ways. But we can, I don't know, live it through as just another rebel, as someone who just does not comply with the rules, in any, as a revolutionary, as a genius, as, but we live it through. We do live this through our own unique ways. So, yes, it does break the old, and this Mercury does remind us, our minds especially, as in, let it sink in that there is no going back to the old, and the only option is that we have is to look forward, even to this very, very uncertain, unwritten, in total mist's future that is ahead of us. When it's written in the stars that it has to be uncertain, like a primordial soup, in that way uncertain, as in it's the future is a primordial soup that everyone has a little spoon of it, some more, yeah, like the world leaders. And what do you do with it? You're invited to do something, Uranus in Taurus, your authenticity, to express your most authentic spirit in an earthly way. That's when you swallow the primordial soup, your spoonful, and do something with it. But that can only be done by living your life story in the most authentic Uranian way to you, regardless of the consequences. Because this is the pattern of the energy. Sometimes, regardless of the consequences, the COVID measures, for example, and this isn't really me wanting to project my opinion upon you, this is just interpreting reality. That is where it was a little bit kind of forced. It was an ingenious solution how to cope with it, but forced. This happened collectively. This will happen individually as well, where the individual awakens and whatever they come up with, whatever their authenticity is, it is what it is. Even the Christ said, I am what I am. Well, it is what it is. And the collective has to accept it. Even if it falls into chaos, just as the individual respected the collective has to respect the individual. This is what Pluto is preparing to trigger, and it is grinding down on these last degrees of Capricorn. Hence, how much of our lives have transformed and how much is yet to be birthed from this primordial soup that is basically in our veins coursing through right now. This is why so very many people feel this anxiety, the chaos. They think that they're bipolar, they're borderline. Yes, this is how reality feels like because everything is pouring in at the same time. For I do believe I'm not mistaken all that much when I'm saying we are the primordial soup right now of whatever shape and form we are giving to the future. Because that's, if we're truly honest with ourselves, Pluto touching Aquarius, Uranus in Taurus, all the Saturn in Pisces soon, very upcoming. That is what the astrology says. What are we gonna birth randomly or through intent from this primordial soup? The future right now is definitely not written. Because it will write itself through us. Aquarius, the human element, us. This is when Pluto in Aquarius. Where reality is so multidimensional that we're very small parts of it, because outside the human world and sphere, there are so many others. Most of them are not really in direct correlation with the human one. Some are, but the collective vision of the human element, well, either it's ridiculed for reasons we can really understand, why the human collective might be ridiculed from beyond the veil, but there is also admiration for the human spirit, our power to love, our power to turn around fate, our power to convince the creator of things even the top children creations cannot convince. So, the opinions, let's say, are shared, but we're negligible. Like, do we matter all that much? So, let children be children. But there comes a period when the spotlight falls upon humankind. When this is how reality works, the spotlight will travel around existence itself, where every single element and component will have its day and time and period when the spotlight is upon them. Go and show you exactly when, if the universe is a big school, every class will have their part at the big Christmas school play or Easter, or call whatever you want. Well, now it's humanity's turn, as in very, very, very soon. This is when in March, anyway, when Pluto touches the 0 degrees of Aquarius, well, that's a little bit like the last and final repetition or setup before the curtains are pulled. After the curtains are pulled, that's it. On with the show. All you can do is improvise, Aquarius, afterwards. Until the curtains are still like this, you can still say your prayers, make the joke, smile, cry, whatever, pee pee, whatever. It can still be done. So this is what we're all in together. This period when The curtains are gonna be pulled very soon. So make your last moment. Live out the last whatever. Smoke the last cigarette before the or drink from the little bottle, the spirit, or joke with your best friend, or do whatever. But yeah, this is that moment. So you can imagine Mercury meeting Pluto. We become our own unique ways at this time, aware that, yeah, there's no going back, the curtains are gonna be pulled, so I best get into my role and take it seriously. But your role, some people have serious roles. Like, I don't know, the narrator, the angel narrating the Christmas play, who's gonna speak most of the play. Now, his role is kind of serious, and that person should take it quite serious. Okay, I'm doing it. I'm in control now. But there are other roles which should be taken the least seriously you take it, the best you get into the character. So, like, I don't know, one of the three sages, the crazy astrologer. Of course, he has to play like he's totally insane and speak some prophetic words. So, everyone, what their role is to truly start getting into it, start channeling it. Or those who know that are gonna have a difficult time, exactly. Improvise, get into improvisation mode. Oh, this is going to be such a good story. I'm going to tell mom, dad, my children, whatever. So this is Mercury, but symbolically. Quite practically, well, what do you have on the table? So you have to accomplish so many things. You have so very many needs. You can't work with what you don't have. What do you have on the table? Work with that. Head into your future. There's no going back, there's only going forward. If the future is so uncertain that anything's possible, what is your attitude? What is your plan to ultimately profit of this? Aries has been teaching us for a lot of time now in Aries. Chaos can be either feared or welcomed. And if you welcome it, like, let me give you an example. A dynamite falls into the lake. Yeah, there is gonna be death there, but if someone is desperately hungry, the floating fish will feed the family. You know what I mean? But later on in the week, around the 11th, Mercury enters into the sign of Aquarius. So finally, we get into this futuristic vibe, social vibe. We're open, we're communicating. We want to know what's going on in the world. We open our minds. And what do we hear? Well, news of the latest discovery, robotics, internet, artificial intelligence, cosmology, the future of technology, where things are going. There's a lot of bad news as well. Saturn also heading slowly but surely towards the end degrees of Aquarius. So that means the restrictions, all the bad, and the militaristic display within the internet. So Mercury is also dishing that on the table, but it's also dishing up, because we must not forget the sun is also in Aquarius, what the alternative to the internet is going to be in a few months. An alternative to the internet, if that even makes sense. And at the same time, from a different point of view, this Mercury transiting through Aquarius will make all of us a little bit, let's say telepathic, synchronicities, and messages through things you search on the internet, suggestions on YouTube or whatever, that are going to be quite ongoing. Another energy that I would like to mention is Juno still meeting Chiron in the sky, healing. There is healing out there in the world, because Juno is the planetoid, asteroid of partnerships, commitments, and alliances. So Chiron, either your wound or whatever your wound has done to you makes you magnetic, attract someone, something, an opportunity even, or your own personal attitude towards life. Because there is more than one thing that can break a inner inertia, an inner frustration, inner whatever, low self-confidence, low self-esteem, where sometimes Juno meeting Chiron, you just think back, you lived through so much through life, like it or not, you have all this life experience. But are you truly going to have or care about a more adolescent type of low self-confidence? No, you're like a veteran in so very many ways. The sheer fact that you're living, breathing, and thinking, I think therefore I am, right now, is your veteran's medal, decoration, honor, right, your divine right to have a certain kind of commodity, if that makes sense. Not to be shy, not to care all that much about certain things that you used to care when you were younger, when you had less experience, less pain, went through less pain. Now, certain things in life do make you a veteran, as I said. There is that type of restoring self confidence as well. But Juno, sometimes someone, something, an element in life has to show you that your wounds, just for the simple fact that you survived something, a wounding, makes you have certain rights divinely in life. Let's say it like that. And another important energy is Jupiter meeting Salasha in the sky. Salasha is the divine light. It is the moment when any kind of play of light, so to speak, for example, sunlight um, flowing through the leaves, the corona of a tree, and the play of light and shadow it leaves on the ground, moonlight, sunlight reflecting on water, or coming through our window, and the shadows it leaves, and the symbols, playfulness, and the magic of the moment they evoke. Now, this is basically the alchemical nature of what Salasha is. Basically, water is life giving, but life's duty to water is to give it feeling, give it purpose, to evoke Salasha within. So Jupiter evokes when the spirit, the divine, is all around us. And it is not shy. It shows itself for sometimes what it is. This is when I can just give you my personal example of last night. There was a snowstorm. For nothing major, but you know, the snow really whirled around streetlights, and of course it mesmerized the viewer, me, but of course anyone else who would be looking in that direction. That mesmerizing moment where it just pushes your soul back either to memory lane, fantasy, an elevated feeling, emotion, how magical this is, or the awareness that the spirit is with me. Basically, that gives us power. That gives us a moment of connection with the divine. That is when we make the wish, and the wish is granted. A falling star. That is, for example, when we wish upon a falling star. That's a moment which could depict so well Salashas and Salashas and Jupiter's meeting, union, conjunction. When someone blows out the birthday candle and make the wish, the magic of the moment. Or when you see something, as I said, what I saw, the snow playing with the street lights, or whatever catches your eye, a light on the wall, a right synchron, whatever, but it does have to do with kind of light and a powerful emotion that it leaves. Well, that is when you need to make the wish. That is when you know the universe, the divine, the sacred is listening to you. And to top this up, Vesta is in the sign of Aries. So the sacred passion, the sacred flame, the sacredness of the ram ultimately. So this concludes the horoscope, but to make it more productive, I'm gonna include a one card tarot guidance for each of the 12 signs. Exactly because this period until March is when the curtains are closed, but we know that they're gonna be open soon and we don't know what we're gonna see. It's surprise, surprise moment. That's when we look at our future for the first time and it will blind us so we won't even get all that much personally, collectively, in any way, shape, and form. So, what is the guidance that the universe can provide for Aries? Three, okay, I take the moon chariot, so the chariot. Oh, sorry, and I'm using this tarot deck. Because Venus favors this. Venus and Pisces is dreams. Moon, and yeah. So the chariot, seven of swords, the hermit, which is the wisdom teacher here, reversed. So what this says to Aries is, like, truly, go on your own way. Even if you feel isolated, even if everyone around you, seven of swords, your best friends, your wife, your husband, your child, your lawyer, your counselor, or whatever, regardless what, if even if they say that your way is not really correct and it's a little bit silly and they make you lose basically your confidence, basically you kind of need to do what the inner light tells you, the light of your own ration. So this is where be very careful what advice you take and from whom, because this is where look at the advice itself, not the person, because they may want your highest good and they may love you with all their hearts, but that doesn't mean their way of thinking, their vision, their mindset, or the advice they received from others themselves is right for you. So basically, follow your own truth, follow your own path, even if you feel a little bit isolated, if you know what I mean. And sometimes that means patience. That means when you don't feel you may have your truth, but you may not feel the impulse to go forward. Don't let anything push you to it. Choose your timing when it feels right for you. So matter of timing for Aries, when it feels right for you. So for Taurus, Lady of Cups. Well, for Taurus, the advice is kind of simple. Go with your innermost feeling. As in, self-care, self-nurture is truly on top priority, on the top of the list. This says that be strong and input your strength, your effort into what your soul calls, because that will seem so easy for you and it will flow with you. Especially if your soul actually calls to spend time with the ones you love. Even if your soul calls just for, moments of affection, it doesn't need to make sense. But give time for all those things that your soul calls for. And ultimately, and I got, yeah, the Emperor and the Four of Pentacles, exactly. Invest your time, invest your energy, invest your values in what your soul calls you to. Sometimes that is comfort, but if you know that comfort makes you more powerful, more stable, then it is not vanity. Other times, maybe sometimes neglecting certain duties or managing your time in an apparent foolish way where you choose to spend time with a person who does something to you, either makes you feel strong, or that person is like the drug, they just detach you from real life, and you still choose to spend some time with them despite the fact that you actually need to be grounded, and this would seem like a time waste. Your inner power, the way that it makes you feel, your inner strength is what truly matters more than anything, because that bends time. You can do it. You can make time work for you, but you need this emotional strength to, be present within you. So let's see for natives born under the sign of Gemini. Well, this dropped, so I'm gonna use this. The Emperor reversed. Well, the Emperor reversed represents that it will be very, 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 very hard to determine what you truly want. Because there will be a lot of distraction in your Six of Pentacles. There will be a lot of distraction in your life. I don't even need more cards because I get the message. So, who do you give your time, energy, and effort to? You won't know, and it won't depend on you. As chaotic it will be, because you will either feel like a rag, which everyone just pulls and pushes in the right in the direction of their needs, or it will be where you are gonna be focused on something which you really want to be focused on, and people will distract you, and even if grumpy, even if nervous, even if, oh, you know what I mean, Gemini, that those kind of days when you just want to mass murder people, you will still have to go and see what the problem is and try your best to solve it. Even if it will annoy you and distract you, and you might feel that other people are taking away all your opportunities, all your time for yourself, all your productivity, your business, your whatever. Chances are, when you give in and when you will still choose to, see what the problem is and help the person, it will come back to you. Maybe the distractions at this time are more important. Yeah, it will get you somewhere. So trust, in the sense that, yeah, opportunities may fly, so very quickly away from you this week, but whatever the opportunity that flew away was sacrificed for, don't worry, that will pay off more handsomely than the opportunity. Cancer natives now. Six of Pentacles. Three of Wands, Four of Pentacles, and Lady of Cups. Well, natives born under the sign of Cancer are gonna have quite a lot on their plate this week, because there are certain things they need to solve for themselves, which cannot suffer delay. And at the same time, either they promise certain things to people, or it's exactly when they're at the busiest, an opportunity, an invitation, a travel, maybe a shorter distance travel, or something comes unexpectedly, and as positive as it is, the Four of Pentacles, it will really tire them out. Emotionally, physically, in many ways. So the guidance here is, well, to do what you can maximally, and after you get tired out, just rest. Because I do believe you'll be sucked into the flow. So prepare yourself for busyness on many levels. Natives born under the sign of Leo. Three of Wands reversed, Lady of Cups. Yeah. Sorry. Well, this means that this is one of those weeks where you do need a lot of indulgence. And you do even need a lot of self-indulgence. Quite frankly, a lot of love, a lot of affection, a lot of, sometimes, and I'm so sorry to say this, even a little bit of ego food. Because either you are after an extraordinary busy period where you really didn't even have the chance to catch your breath and you kind of start feeling sorry for yourself, or you're gonna have that period and you know that it's gonna be like that. Either it's where, a project that is starting and you know it's gonna be very busy, or this is where, how should I say, you will have a period when you withdraw, whatever this means to you. So you make preparations for that. So yeah, natives born under the sign of Leo kind of have to indulge in whatever it is that they can this week to make preparations for what's coming, or to restore to recharge their depleted batteries. Now let's say natives born under the sign of Virgo. Two of Swords and Five of Swords. Well, Virgo natives might be in a very classical period where they don't really know what to do. They don't know what the best option is. They don't know what the best business solution, expert, professional to help them. They're in the dilemma. But I do believe this is quite practical. They might have the dream, they might have so very much, and the Five of Swords reversed, they even have the right attitude. They're even in the right, as they say. And yet still, life is not giving them enough options. Well, this Five of Swords reversed is actually a good sign, because the best thing to do in this situation is exactly keep on fueling, keep on promoting, keep on working with the right attitude. Your attitude, of course. Exactly. The sun. So, what this means is, well, you kind of set on a journey not so long ago that you're really gonna, Ten of Wands, even no matter how hard it is, you're really gonna keep on your path. What you kind of promise to yourself. The Five of Swords reversed. As in, the right mindset, optimistic as possible, and not let either the success of others, the failure of others, influence you in any way, or the opinion of others, or the involvement of others. This can be a partner, a sister, a mother, a father, a child. This is where it's really the way you think it. Because life proved to you that your way of thinking is actually the most correct and down to earth from everyone from your circle. So this is where love and how much you love the person has nothing to do with the mindset. Because your partner, the love of your life, mindset wise, might be your worst enemy. If you know what I mean. They might be the biggest saboteur in your life. So this is where Virgo natives go and kind of fuel the positive mindset. You don't know yet the answers. You don't see what to do yet. You don't have the option. Okay. No problem. Positive mindset. For natives born under the sign of Libra. Oh. Two of Cups reversed. Four of Swords reversed. Two of Wands reversed. Well, to be totally honest with you guys, this means unfulfilled love. This means where things might be so really good, Four of Swords reversed. In so very many other areas of life, there's hope at work, I've accomplished so much, I'm actually okay with myself, but either your dates, your romance, your attempts to have a partner are going very weird, or they're not really giving you what you need. Or Two of Wands reversed, this is where you just don't function on that area of life. You've done miracles in any other area of your life, but when it comes to your love life, it's stale. And for those of you who have a partner, this means that you might be feeling that you're disappointing your partner, and it doesn't matter if that is real or not, what your partner says, this is your mood, and it's where you're stuck a little bit this week with that. So don't exasperate your partner. When they say you're pretty or whatever, believe it. Just believe it. Just believe it. But if you don't have a partner, well, that's even worse, because you will want to evoke all the reasons why you don't have a partner. So you will turn against yourself. Don't push away people who tell you how worthy you are of love and romance. This might be where your ruler Venus is aggressed by Mars. So I can see how how Venusians basically live this through. Let's see natives born under the sign of Scorpio. Nine of Cups reversed. Oh no. Well, natives born under the sign of Scorpio, this is where, well, am I doing the right thing? As in, maybe they're facing a decision, maybe they're facing a something that they kind of accomplished, something that they put together, something that they need to kind of start, maybe a project, a promise, an agreement, a contract, business, money, love, relationship, or the lower octave of love. After all, we are speaking about Scorpio natives. Oh, and please, this was just a joke. And the sun, well, ultimately, you can't do it. Like, it's basically whatever this is, your creation. May that be a situation, may that be someone you attracted. It is you and your creation. But the Nine of Cups reversed. So what do you do with it? Because you're not all that sure if it wants to make you happy. You're not sure if whatever this wish fulfillment ultimately is something that you've done, you created, is for your higher good or not. So, Ten of Cups reversed. This is where I think you are going to let fate decide. And go whatever fate decides. Because you do not really know what to do. And usually the Ten of Cups reversed is when, well, the completion is going with the flow. So let us see natives born under the sign of Sagittarius. Temperance, Three of Swords, Four of Cups. Well, this means either facing a fear, healing a heartbreak. No, facing the fear will ultimately heal it. This can either mean healing a heartbreak, the fulfillment of a promise, where the fear was that the person would not keep their promise, or that it wouldn't come together, it wouldn't be true. And this comes as a certain surprise with the Four of Cups reversed. An unexpected twist of fate. But the Temperance is the best because it's not just a healing of a heartbreak or a moment where the fear is healed, the fear is banished, or a result of your alchemy. It is also quite surprising, if you know what I mean. It is a healing in faith. So, however this plays out, it heals something in the higher parts of you, as a faith, a misaligned belief, a misconception. It is healed by the confrontation, facing your fear. Natives born under the sign of Capricorn. Again, the Nine of Cups, but in upright position. Well, after all, you do have Mercury and Pluto in your sign and they will meet. So yeah, Nine of Cups, I imagine. Wow! This kind of me too says either a dream, a desire, or even a work, something that you kind of initiated, dreamed up, invested some kind of energy into it. Everyone told you, oh, it's not possible, give it up, it's not gonna happen. This is where the Five of Pentacles reversed. Maybe even physical reality pointed to the fact that you cannot make it, or if it's a project, or if it's something, even a partnership, for example. You, as someone, romantically or not, to be your partner and they said, I'm sorry, I can't at this time. But anyway, something is reborn, comes back. A unexpected wish fulfillment. Maybe you were at the interview and you thought, oh no, I'm definitely not gonna be chosen. And a month passes, you even forget and you get the phone call. I do want you, I do need you, I do remember you. Or as I said, partnership. You went on a date, I don't think yeah, probably not. But, it was nice meeting you, the same, and you walk away. Month passes, you forget, you get the phone call. Well, actually, I couldn't stop thinking about you. There you go. So, yeah. Natives born under the sign of Aquarius. The Sun reversed, the Tower reversed. Well, these are two major arcana, so I would really love a clarifier like this. And another major arcana. Sorry. Well, this kind of says, surprise, surprise from life. The Empress, either professionally, but it's too big for you, because it eclipses your sun. And the Tower reversed, as in, you don't even know how you feel about it, so you will need time to process whatever the surprise is. It can be, for example, if you're single, if you're in a relationship but not married, you're asked and you don't know how you feel about it. You're single and not looking, and there he is, she is. And you're not looking, but you do realize that this is the person of your dreams, so to speak. And what do you do then? Like, what exactly do you do? Because you also know that you're not your best self. And you're not attractive psychologically, because you want to be unattractive. And you put a lot of work into being, like, not open, if you know what I mean. And you know that meeting this person, well, you're still that grumpy self of yours. But the Tower reversed. Yet, the ice is breaking so quickly that if you don't get out of the situation, it will get to your heart, and there it is, you'll be in love too. And what do you do? But as I said, this can be in so very many ways, professionally, or a surprise that you don't even know how you feel about it. 9 of Wands and 10 of Pentacles reversed. Yeah. If you accept it will change your life, basically routines, it is big. But this is where not even the cards can tell you what is right or wrong. You need to choose if it's too big for you or if you're going with it. And finally, last but not least, our Piscean natives with Venus in your sign and Vesta out of your sign. Well, Piscean natives do know what they want. Oh, yeah. They do have figured stuff out. They did get, like, for some Pisces natives, this is practical. The paper came, reply from authorities, this and that, so the decision is made, plan is made, and even Lady of Swords. There was cord cutting, there was redoing, re-envisaging, reinventing, thinking under this Mercury retrograde season. So both male and female sword, basically the intellectual element, is in unison. Six of Wands. The moment is here. The plan is there. Spirit of Wands, excitedness and judgment. Because the decision is made, this is where even in your soul, it becomes your reality. So something starts this week. It may start just in feeling that I'm already living it, the plan is going forward, but it might be um reflected in a fated event where the divine just greets you. You made a decision, and then the divine comes, as I said, through a fated event, whatever that would be, as in, yep, I got your message, and yep, I'm with you. So I do hope that you liked it, and I hope that this tarot guidance was a good idea. Thank you everyone for all the love, all the support, for basically keeping me alive. And if you'd like to, keep my channel in existence because it's not very big, you can keep on supporting me. The PayPal link is in the description below. So with this being said, thank you everyone for all the love and support. Until next time, bye for now.